good evening and greetings to you all. Welcome to Anupali, and thank you so much for joining me. I am happy to be back with you for another hour on this program. On this evening's program, the lines are open as I wish to spend the time one-on-one with you, talking about the matters that are important to you. You can call 225-3400 and 611-3400. Yesterday, I spent time in Granby with some of my DLP colleagues and the family of the late Edward Regis to honor the memory of our departed brother. Ed was such an important part of the Dominica Labour Party. We will miss his strong, enthusiastic presence as the voice of our political campaigns. He truly embodied the spirit and values of the Labour Party, and the loss of his leadership will be felt for many years to come. But more than that, I think that Granby and Dominica have lost a true nationalist who was committed to the development of every citizen, regardless of the person's background or political preference. Ed worked for the advancement of people. His advocacy over many years in youth affairs and community development will long be remembered. His stint as parliamentary representative of Granby and as a government minister further cemented his legacy as a patriot who devoted his life's work to the creation of social and economic opportunities for his fellow citizens. I was happy to join his mom yesterday in the unveiling of a sign, a billboard, that will stand in honor of Ed in his hometown, Granby. It is only a small part of our plans to keep his legacy alive, but it is my hope that it brought some level of comfort and pride to his immediate family and to his constituents. We will always keep him in our hearts. This past week, we forged ahead with the business of managing the country and placing it on the right path of development, despite the challenges posed by the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Granted, COVID is slowing us down in more ways than one. Economic activity is taking a hit, movement is curtailed, and the focus of government shifted to addressing the immediate health crisis we are faced with. The provision of health services during the current surge absorbs a significant chunk of the funds which we set aside for other government initiatives, whether it's in housing, in sports, you name it, these monies have to be diverted. Yet, we are doing what is necessary to prudently manage the state's resources to keep the economy running, people in jobs, and our debts serviced. COVID has to be managed, and in tandem with that, the business of the state has to continue. This is why, as a government, we are also preoccupied with advancing and implementing the many plans and programs contained in the recently passed budget of 2021-2022. And I have directed my cabinet colleagues to move ahead with effecting the plans approved in the budget in the respective ministries and departments. And I can assure you that work is poised to move ahead on many initiatives. Activity in tourism continues, even with the restrictions on travel worldwide. We are seeing the weekly arrival of cruise ship visitors to the island under the strictest health and safety guidelines. This, I think, is one clear example of the commitment of this government to keep the wheels of the economy turning in the face of this dire health crisis. And from all reports, I'm told that those who are involved in providing services to the cruise visitors this past week was a very successful week for all of them. And I thank God for that. And so you see, we understand the assignment that the Dominican people have given to us. We do not have the luxury of approaching the situation from the sidelines with no first-hand knowledge of the significant human and capital resources that are needed to fight this virus. You know, and I've been saying to the Minister for Health, and you know, we were having a conversation last week, and I'm saying to him, I believe that we're going to share with the Dominican people in greater detail the expansive program we have put in place to manage COVID-19. I don't believe that Dominicans understand the extent of the operations that we're running. You know, when you have in excess of 450 patients to care for 24 hours, one can appreciate the extensive, expansive, and indeed expensive undertaking that we are having with the management of COVID-19. But we are doing so, and we have done so, because the safety and the health of our citizens in this period and any other period is paramount. And I think at some point we will share with you what we have put in place to manage this virus and manage the spread of this virus and to treat the people of Dominica. So it is no easy feat. And you must be wary, very wary of those who wish to convince you that it is without having spent a single day managing the country's affairs, let alone in the midst of a global pandemic. There are people who will give you the impression that it is abracadabra. You know, it is easy. You know, just do this and do that and everything will be fine. But these people have not had the opportunity to manage the affairs of a country for 1 hour, far more for a day, and far more for a year. So our job as a government is to ensure that the livelihood of every single citizen is maintained and protected, and that people can continue to go about their daily business of life and work. It is a delicate balancing act, and I ask for your support of our efforts to protect health and the health of our vulnerable children and the elderly, while finding ways to keep establishments open so that people can work and employees can pay their wages. And I understand there are some people who believe that we should have the country shut down for 15 days straight and for 21 days straight. And everybody has a right to express themselves and to make suggestions to the government and so on. But I believe we have been able to find a responsible approach to balancing the health imperative and the economic and livelihood imperative. Because when you shut down, the small businesses are the ones who are really dramatically impacted. So I think we're finding a balance in this regard. So, and this is what we are doing and we're seeking to do when every week, for example, we review the measures and protocols to allow for the reopening and extended operating hours for businesses. And so we're taking a measured approach, and this measured approach is absolutely necessary. It is not meant to frustrate, and our wish is certainly not to restrict anyone. But might I remind you, my dear friends, we are in the middle of a raging health crisis that affects us all. And so the task of overcoming this pandemic is not only for government, as I have said. We all must play our part. We need the cooperation and support of every one of you in this country. And there are so many ways you can help. We have spoken about this before, and I have been very clear. First, it is in your best interest to get vaccinated. The efficacy of the available vaccines is not in question. Vaccination reduces your risk of severe illness, hospitalization, and death. And it empowers a country, a population, which has achieved herd immunity to return to a normal way of life. Our way of life in Dominica will continue to be impacted and our activities curtailed for as long as we refuse to get vaccinated. And therefore, I encourage you to stick to the facts. Place your confidence in the health experts and make the decision that is in the best interest of your personal health and the well-being of your family and community. With that said, we cannot shy away from a discussion about the debilitating impact that widespread COVID-19 infection will have on economies and livelihoods. Business leaders are the ones who are best placed to weigh in on this issue. And I must make it very clear, they do not speak for me, and I do not speak for them. But they do have a right to an assessment of the situation and the potential long-term economic fallout. Everything need not be, my dear friends, a fight in this country, or an opportunity to insult and get our blood pressures sky high. At some point, we're going to have to come to terms with the fact that only collective action can help us turn this situation around. This is why I continue to encourage you to get tested and get vaccinated. There are also other actions you can take to protect your health. The simple things, very simple things. Wear your mask properly and at all times when in a public space or in the company of people who are not part of your household. The mask must be worn over the mouth and nose so as to limit the chance of spreading the virus when in close contact with others. Wash your hands and sanitize often. This is a simple safety measure that requires very little effort, but helps to limit transmission if your hands become contaminated. We must wipe and sanitize frequently used surfaces to lessen the risk of spread. Stay away from large social gatherings for now. And I understand the economic implications of the suspension of CO in Dominica. But the party can't go on right now. I know how much we love our fete in this country. And I want us to get back to a place where that can happen. I want this for you. I want this for us. Carnival and Independence are some of the best times on island. But right now, our health must be our priority. And this brings me to the point of the need to limit even our small gatherings that include people from outside our households. Right now, we must value intimate family time. There is absolutely no wisdom in inviting friends to your home for a fleeting moment of fun that leaves your child, parent, or grandparent gasping for breath days later. Avoid these situations that compromise the health of those closest to you, especially those who are most vulnerable because they cannot get vaccinated or have underlying medical conditions. It simply is not worth it. I also need us to consider how we are caring for and looking out for the elderly during these times. Be mindful always of the need to protect this vulnerable group, the elderly. They deserve the best of our efforts. Let us not be selfish. In fact, like our children, the well-being of our elderly should be at the forefront of our minds in our decision-making where this virus is concerned. I ask you to be considerate and to show love and care to these vulnerable members of our society. If you are providing care to the elderly, it's important that you know your status. You need to get tested because it only takes one positive person to infect a significant number of people, especially the elderly. So my friends, I am here tonight in large measure to hear from you, to receive your calls and to hear your suggestions and your ideas on matters which are of concern to you. So the lines are open, 225-3400 and 611-3400. This week, just to update you, well, last week gone, just gone, we held, just to say, Caricom-Africa. There was this historic summit which brought the leaders of Africa and the Caribbean together, leaders of Caricom. And one of the decisions which came out of the summit is to have an annual meeting of heads of state and government of Caricom and Africa. And this is an occasion that we've been seeking to have for a very long time. And for some reason or the other, it never materialized. And so we're very happy that finally it was materialized, it has materialized, and we look forward to putting structures in place to allow for greater collaboration and cooperation between the Caribbean and Africa. So there has been tremendous enthusiasm and excitement among Caribbean people of this exchange between Caricom and African leaders. I believe we have a caller. Good evening, please.
Yes, good evening, Prime Minister.
Yes, sir.
And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, trust you and your family very well.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Okay. My question to you is, sometime last year, the government had put in some measures to assist small businesses. And they started off with the $50,000 program, then they're supposed to implement it in February. What is the situation this program to make it to upper business? Because it's been over a year now, and none of us still waiting to do that.
Okay, thank you.
Good job.
Thank you, sir. Well, I didn't quite get the question, but I think I got a gist of it. As you know, last year we did put at the aid bank some resources, funds to help small businesses that were affected by the pandemic. And that went very well. It was oversubscribed. It was initially a $5 million amount, and then it was oversubscribed. And what we have done is to provide the additional funding to cover the number of people who applied beyond what we had originally approved or committed to, because recognize that small businesses during this pandemic have been the most affected. And we also provided support to bus drivers and people who provide the taxi operators and tour operators as well. There was a commitment made by the government to provide some $30 million over a 3-year period through the aid bank to lend to small businesses, and the government of Dominica is contracting this loan from the CDB, but that would have been over a 3-year period, $10 million. But we have decided to advance this amount in 1 year, so we will make this full amount available to the aid bank in 1 year. There has been some delay in terms of the submission of necessary documents and approvals. So we are nearing that process, and it's taken longer than I would have liked to take. But these things happen sometimes, and you just have to cope with it and to push it. So I'm hoping that we can conclude on this very soon. So this $30 million can be made available to the aid bank to be lent to small and medium-sized enterprises in Dominica. It will be at a generous interest rate. It will certainly be the lowest interest rate that you'll find in any financial institution. And no doubt it will help in sustaining existing small businesses, but allowing people with ideas and investment ideas to have access to financing that will help them advance their small businesses. Yeah, caller, please. Welcome.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good evening to you. Welcome.
I would like to talk to the Prime Minister.
Well, well, you on the program. Hello.
Hello, good night.
Hi, good evening to you.
Yeah, PM,
Yes, ma'am.
I just called you to thank you for giving me the advance on the rent money. Thank you very, very much. In spite of what my daughter tried, thanks very much.
Okay.
They tell me I'll get something again for me to see if I can repair the place.
Yeah.
Because people want to rent there and I cannot rent it, you know?
Okay.
Thanks again very, very much.
Okay. God bless you, darling.
Thank-
God bless you. Yeah. I also want to report to us and update us. Telephone call. Hello. Good evening.
Hello, good evening.
Hi. Hi. Go ahead, please. Yeah. Okay. This on Friday, we received from the People's Republic of China 30,000 antigen test kits. This donation is a gift from the government of the People's Republic of China, and this follows a gift of 10,000 PCR test kits which we received from the Chinese government less than 2 weeks ago. So this gift comes at a timely moment for us. It will now place us in a more comfortable position, a very good position to continue our very aggressive testing island-wide. And so we want to thank the Chinese government. They have been there for us from day one in providing us with significant support. And just with this 10,000 PCR test kits and this 40,000 antigen test kits, you're talking about approximately 1.6 million US dollars. So this is a huge donation, and it just tells you how costly this exercise is. On average, a rapid antigen test kit will cost in excess of 20 US dollars. A PCR test kit will cost in excess of 100 US dollars. And we are providing those tests to our citizens at no cost to them. A caller, please. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, go ahead, please. Yeah.
Good evening, PM.
Hi, good evening to you.
And how are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Hello, PM. Good night.
Hello.
This is Peter.
Hi.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well.
How is the family?
Everyone is fine, thank God.
This is Peter calling.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Yes. I will make contact with you. Okay. Yeah. I'll make contact with you. Then so the Chinese have been very helpful to us, and we're very grateful to them for that. From day one, they have been there with us, providing technical assistance and also material support in our fight against COVID-19. This past week as well, we commenced a drive-through testing initiative. And I recall someone calling a couple weeks ago and making a suggestion to us. This government received a most generous contribution from Graduate Medical Education Development, GMED Global, a company based in the United States of America. The contribution that GMED Global provided to us in our fight against COVID-19 is valued over US $300,000. And I'll come back to this point after the caller. Yes, caller, please.
Good evening, PM.
Yes, good evening to you, sir.
I want to thank you and your team for doing such a wonderful what took place in Granby yesterday on behalf of the late Edward Regis. And I am very pleased in the way everything was organized. And knowing Ed as a member of my community who really wanted to see Granby advance just as he would like to see all of our Dominica move forward. I am thankful on behalf of your team for what you have done on his behalf. And I want to say on Granbury's behalf, I have one final question to ask, if you permit me.
Sure.
And the question is, I can recall in one of your town hall meetings, while Nurse was the power rep of Granby, and Edward Regis was the chairman of the Granby of the village council, and he spoke of the Tetmon-Stufriel Link Road, which, of course, your government was unable to give a positive response during that time. But hearing you saying most of what he wanted for Granby, your government will see to that, where you will be trying your best to implement, if not all, but some of them. And that was one of his favorite projects, because that project will enable us to utilize our lands at Tetmon, Bodio, Picodo, and all these areas where we can sell our grains to Monakuma, to Mr. Sam Raphael. And this has been a traditional thing that used to exist in the 60s, where Granburyans would bring their products down to Superior and they would come back with fish. So I hope probably if things goes well with the government, we know the COVID is kind of cramping all governments economically, but we wish that the Almighty bless your government and enable you to fulfill even that small piece of Ed's wish or desire for Granby. And once more, thank you for allowing me to talk for such a long time. And again, thank you for yesterday in Granby on behalf of the late Ed Regis.
Okay. Thank you, my brother, and please stay safe in Guadeloupe where you are now. You know, we take note of your commendation and we thank you for that. And of course, the Tetmon to Scottsdale Road has always been a point of discussion in Tetmon in particular. I have walked part of this track, so I'm aware of the potential of this track. Obviously, our focus now is on the Loubaire to Granby Bacatel road. The designs are proven to be more expensive than the funds that we have available. So it is certainly we have to contract an additional amount, and this will be by way of a loan to ensure that we build a road that is resilient, a road that is safe, and a road that is durable. We do not want to shortchange the designs and the necessary interventions which we have to make to make driving from Loubaire to Belleville-Chopin to Pichler, onto Granby and onto Bacatel to be compromised. And so we are focusing on that. The geotechnical studies are nearing completion, and very soon we'll finalize the designs, and the designs are ongoing as well. So while they get information from the field, they're making changes to the designs, and very soon we'll go to tender for this very important project. Thank you very much. Yes, caller, please.
Good evening, PM.
Hi, good evening to you. Welcome.
And how are you?
I'm very well, thank God.
The family is okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
May God continue to bless, guide, protect, and direct you and your family.
Sure, thank you.
You know, it's speaking to you, Mommy.
Of course, of course. Thank you.
I placed several messages, but they keep on telling me down all the time. So when can I come and see you?
Well, I will give you a call hopefully tomorrow. So I'll give you a call. Expect my call tomorrow.
In God's will.
God willing, okay?
So I wish you a wonderful and blessed week.
Sure.
And PM, do not stress yourself. You're looking good still, and I'm happy to see you. Okay?
Thank
you
you.
have put too much burden on your back. You're carrying the whole Dominica burden on your shoulders. And I pray to God that He will continue to give you the strength.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
God bless you.
God bless you too. Have a wonderful
And
evening.
keep on doing what you're doing, but do not stress yourself.
Thank you.
Keep your head above the waters, and may the Lord continue to hold your hands and walk with you through the darkest night and the brightest day.
Sure. Thank you very much.
Okay?
Thank you, darling.
And I cover you in the precious blood of the Lamb of God, Jesus of Nazareth.
Thank
to
you.
walk with you through the darkest night, the brightest day, and to bless your children and your wife. Be strong, be bold, keep your head above the waters, fret not your heart because of evildoers.
Thank you very
God
much.
bless you, my son.
Thank you.
If
Thank
you could see me on the TV, you see your light shining right now. Okay?
Thank you. Thank
God
you.
bless you and have a blessed evening.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you very much, Carla. Thank you very much, mommy. And so I was saying that we got this donation of in excess of $300,000 US from GMET Global, which is an American firm, who offered us assistance, and we accepted it. They came in with all of the supplies, trained our people, and since then we've been conducting the drive-through testing, and from all reports, we've been working very well. Your results are able to email to you or sent to you by WhatsApp, I believe, and people have been making tremendous use of this facility. Very quick and very efficient. So that's part of our aggressive testing program. And because we believe in testing, it's important that we know people's status, and so that we can manage the spread of the virus. On the issue of the Pfizer vaccines, which is a donation from the US government, and we're very grateful to President Biden and his administration and the American people for this most generous gift. We will receive some 46,500 doses of the Pfizer vaccine. Everything is in place for the rollout of the Pfizer vaccine in Dominica. The freezer, which was needed to be here at least 48 hours before the vaccines arrived there, and it's been tested, and it's functioning and working very well. The staff is in place, and the schedule has been drawn up to roll out the vaccines, the Pfizer vaccines, when they come into the country. Your caller, please. Yeah, sure, go ahead. Caller, please. Okay. Just to tell the caller, when you call, listen to me and not listen to your television or your radio, because you will get distracted. And so we are coordinating with the U.S. Embassy on the date of arrival, which I am certain should be anytime soon. And so we are hoping that parents can consent for their children. Yes. Caller, please. Hello, good evening.
Yes, thank you. Good evening.
Yes, sir.
Good evening to the Prime Minister. Good evening to the Prime Minister.
Yeah,
Prime Minister.
Yes, sir. Good evening to you. Welcome.
Oh, good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I'm very well.
And your children and your wife.
Everybody's fine, thank you, sir.
Yes, and I'm talking about you and Mr. Talking about the COVID, basically.
Yeah.
The two of you doing enough for people to believe to take the vaccine. If they don't want to take it, that is up to them. Mm-hmm. You can hear me, Prime Minister?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing you. I'm hearing you.
Okay. Then, thank you, Prime Minister. Dr. McIntyre, the two of you. Prime Minister, I'm talking from South City, Grand Bay.
Yes, sir.
It was very nice yesterday evening for you to be there to assist the test.
Yeah,
and Grand Bay belong to Labour. Grand Bay belong to you. And nobody take Labour from you. So, bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, my friend. God bless you. I appreciate appreciate your kind words.
Market, yes.
I know you very well. I know the voice.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
I remember the voice very well. God bless you.
Yes.
And
you too.
With this COVID and physical distancing, it's very difficult for me to visit so many communities and people I need to visit. Very sad and very unfortunate, but that is life. So we're very grateful, I said, to the United States government, and so we're hoping to get this very soon. The important thing about the Pfizer vaccine is that it can be administered to children 12 to 17 years old. And it's important that parents and guardians, consent for the children to get vaccinated. And of course, it's available to everybody from 12 up. We have enough vaccines to vaccinate the population. We still do have the Sinopharm and we still do have AstraZeneca. And with the Pfizer coming on board, we will have a greater option to choose from. Yes, Colin.
Yes, good evening, PM.
Hi, good evening to you.
Yes, I'm a small business owner, and I would like to really ask you guys, I don't know if you help team, to give us specifics about our opening hours.
Yeah.
And there is something else I noticed happening. The roads in Mero, every Sunday is being blocked. I do not know the reason why, if it's the police or whatever.
I see.
Because of a comment that somebody made.
Okay. 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 Thank you, my friend. Businesses, you can open from, I believe it's 5 a.m. or 6 a.m., but 6 you can go up until 9 p.m. at night. So 9 p.m., businesses can open up until 9 p.m. So your small business can, in fact, open up until 9 p.m. every weekday and also on a Saturday. I don't know about this blocking of the road to Mero. I'm certainly the Minister for National Security and the Chief of Police are listening, and so they'll be able to let me know about this. But I do not know about the blocking of the road. I suspect it might be to be controlling the number of people who are going into the Mero Beach. There has been a concern in terms of, an overriding of people on the Mero Beach. So that might just be a precautionary measure. I'm just assuming it might be a precautionary measure by the authorities to control the number of people who are going in there. But if it's completely blocked, then I need to find out about this. But businesses certainly can open up until 9 p.m. Every weekday and Saturday. A caller, please. Hello.
Hello, good evening. Good night. Good night, Mr. Skerrit.
Hi, good evening to you, my dear.
This is Christabel. This is the road.
Yes.
I just calling to tell you thank you for all the good things you have done for us.
Yeah, good. Thank you. God bless you.
Yeah, and we have a problem of the chance there where we need to light on the cemetery.
Okay.
And where we live in there, on the road where we live in, there's very dark, we did one post.
Okay.
Right there.
Okay, we can certainly address that.
And Mr. Skerrit, I just wanted to ask you, when we get in the when they finish in the assembly, and they don't do it right, that's a lot of fault on the foundation.
Okay. Well, the Minister for Housing is listening, and he will certainly follow up on this and to make sure the contractor is doing the job properly to your satisfaction, my dear. Okay, God bless you, okay? Now, I was speaking about the vaccination for 12 to 17, and of course, we require the consent. There's a consent form that will be made available at the schools, at the village councils, and at the district medical health and wellness centers. Your caller. Yes, caller, please. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, good evening to you.
Good evening to you. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, so that's a suggestion this evening.
Sure.
I would also like to allow the persons who are caretakers, who take care of the elderly, please always know your status. Get tested, because we have to be so careful. And if we love the elderly, we really don't want them to get this virus. So please, we need at all times to get tested so we know our status.
Sure.
And also, I'd like to encourage persons, everybody has their opinion, but I'm encouraging persons to get vaccinated. Okay, because that's the way forward. For the COVID, for to fight this COVID virus, we need to follow protocols, get vaccinated, sanitize ourselves, and take care of our elderly, especially,
Sure.
and the vulnerable around.
So, thank you, my dear. Thank you. That's an important point, and we're grateful for this point. The vulnerable, the elderly are very vulnerable. This Delta variant affects your respiratory tract, and it's a challenge for senior citizens. So we need to do all what we need to do, take all necessary precaution and care where the virus is concerned, and getting tested, as the caller quite rightly suggested. Caller, please. Hello, good evening.
Yes, sir. Mr. Prime Minister, good evening.
Yes, sir, good evening to you.
Yeah, I have a concern about the trucking industry in Dominica.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I saw a few big trucks on the port, and I was wondering what's going on, what's going to happen to the local truckers?
Well, I know people have been saying that these trucks belong to the government. These trucks don't belong to the government. The government doesn't own any trucks. But I believe that it is a discussion I believe we need to have with the truckers, not only the association, but a wider group of truckers, because there are issues on all different sides. I know the Minister for Public Works would have met with the truckers, I believe, either earlier this year or late last year. And it's important for us to follow up on this. I have some ideas and suggestions. I know I have been back in the days when Mr. Reid was the president. We had discussions, and we were able to work out a number of concerns. But certainly I will ask the Minister of Public Works to engage yourselves, so we can hear your concerns and to see how we can work together towards overcoming the concerns which you may have. Caller, please.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, good evening, please.
Yes, I'm just calling to thank you for everything that you've done. You're very happy with you, and I thank God for you. I thank God that there's my children here. And then some stuff comes, you know, do that day.
Yeah, I know.
God bless you, my PM.
Thank you. Yeah, God bless you, darling. God bless you. This COVID stuff has affected people so dramatically. And I know there are people in society who, and for good reason, or for their own reason, and their own perspective, who will question the decisions that we take from time to time. But I always say to people who engage me in discussions about the decisions, I always say to them, I have to take into not only their perspective, but everybody's perspective. And then as the final decision maker of the country, I have to take decisions having received all of the different perspectives and so on. And a decision I believe is in the best interest of the majority of Dominicans. I would love for it to be all of Dominicans, but you can never please everybody at the same time. But we have to find, as I said, a balance between the health imperative and the economic imperative. Yes, caller, please.
Good evening. I was wondering if we intend to get the Cuban vaccine.
Yeah. I certainly believe we will eventually. We have, as you know, very great relations with Cuba. They are going through the tremendous challenges with the economic blockade and of course with the COVID-19. Cuba relies heavily on tourism. Tourism has been affected the world over, including in Cuba. So they're going through the huge challenges, also with COVID, significant number of cases. They have started vaccinating the population with their own homegrown vaccines. But eventually, I believe we will get the vaccines. What I would like to caution people, because I've met people who've said, I'm waiting for the Pfizer or waiting for the Cuban vaccine. I would caution you against waiting. I believe that all of the vaccines which we have so far, the efficacy rate is high, and it's important that we get vaccinated as quickly as possible. So I do not have a timetable on when we will get the Abdallah from Cuba, but I would suggest to you that you, or not anybody who is listening who hasn't been vaccinated, to take what is available. I mean, they all work, and they all will work. So we do not want to wait until it's too late, because we see what's happening in the Caribbean and the world. You know, it's a huge challenge. As a matter of fact, the chairman of Caricom, Honorable Gaston Brown, the Prime Minister of Antigua and Barbuda, has convened a special meeting of Caricom heads for tomorrow morning to discuss the situation of COVID-19 in the Caribbean and the implications for the Caribbean of this current surge that's going on in virtually every single island of the Caribbean. Caller, please. Hello?
Hello.
Hi, good evening.
Hi.
Go ahead, please. Listen to me. Go ahead, please.
Hello, good night.
Go ahead. Go ahead, please.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay. Sorry. You don't call me office. Very important.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We took note of that. Thank you. So we have to do this. I want to also encourage us, though, in Dominica, support the local farmers. Farmers are planting, and it's a time for us to help them, to purchase what they're selling, to consume more of local stuff. Then there are a whole host of small and micro businesses that are producing and manufacturing so many different things that we can use. So from soaps to coffee and a whole host of things that we can certainly help support them. Caller, please. Hello.
Mr. Prime Minister, good evening.
Hi, good evening to you.
And how are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Hold on a second. Hello?
Hi, good evening to you.
Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister.
Hi.
I'm calling from the India.
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to thank you very much for yesterday.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
And let Ed legacy live on you.
Sure.
And my PM, I love you.
Thank you very much. Love you too. Thank you. Appreciate
Bye.
it. Thank you. Well, from all the reaction of the public, the event went very well in Granby, and it was a very and you know, I believe even if Ed was not the PAL rep or a minister, the party would have done the same thing for him, because his contribution preceded his appointment as a PAL rep and as a minister, and so we're very grateful for him, very grateful for his contribution. I was talking about local farmers. It's important that we support the local farmers, the watermelons that are out there, the various fruits that are out there, bananas that have been ripened in Dominica, you know, the ground provisions. We have to support the farmers. We have to support the fishermen. The abattoir continues to provide fresh chicken from farmers, locally grown small farmers in Dominica, and also for the pork lovers, the abattoir also has pork for sale. Yes, caller, please.
Yes, good night. Yeah.
Yes, how are you?
I'm good. I think you're doing a good job on the COVID situation. And I think we did a good job in response to our probably. That was a good thing yesterday. But then I want to touch on the people road. At this point, are we satisfied with the progress on the road?
Okay.
And I think I called in earlier on when the project had just started, suggesting.
Sure. Yeah. Is he the same caller who called on the truckers stuff? So I will need to speak to him, so we need to get his number so I can give him a call after the program. The body up to Castle Bruce and onto the Salibia constituency all the way through Pigwa. I met with the contractor last week, and he has told me that he's not satisfied with the progress. He thinks that they should be much further away, and so he has put systems in place to increase the speed and efficiency of the execution of that project. So yes, your observation is correct, absolutely correct. Local knowledge is so important. Guys in the villages can tell you everything that there is to know. So you're certainly on the money, my brother, in your observation with regards to the speed of what's taking place. Because we had some concerns, and of course, the contractor himself has accepted that they have fallen behind, and they need to catch up. Thank you. Caller, please.
Yes, good evening to you.
Yes, good evening to you, sir.
And how are you and how is family?
Everybody's fine, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. All right, I just want to compliment you for the work being done so far. I think you've been doing a great job in managing the affairs of the state in light of the COVID-19 situation at this point in time.
Sure, thank you.
I also want to compliment you as leader of the party for organizing the activity for our fallen brother, who is Edward Regis, I think Ed deserves all what is being done, and I know Ed was a very committed Labour Party member, executive member, and in all aspects of developing the party for our beloved country. So, PM, I just want to say, continue doing the good work, and we hope that the great Lord will continue covering you with good health to continue doing what is necessary for the continued success of our beloved country.
Sure. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Managing this COVID stuff is not easy. And I pray to God that as the leader of the country, I won't be subjected to another crisis to manage. I have had in my tenure as Prime Minister quite a number of them. Natural disasters and the global financial crisis. We had an oil crisis. The price of oil went to over $150 a barrel at some point. Is a caller? Caller, please.
Hello, good night, PM.
Hi, good evening, my dear.
Yes, PM, the E25 program is still on?
Of course.
Okay, I'm calling on behalf of an elderly. Let me refresh your memory. They was in April and they went up at Stockholm and see the little lady by the door on the ship.
Sure, of course.
Okay. She really needs a little assistance. I don't know why I can bring lunch for
I will contact you after, okay?
Please.
Yeah, so we can fix that problem. That's an easy problem to fix.
Yes.
Okay, darling. Very well. Very good. And that's what we must do, we have to be our neighbor's keeper, and reach out. The government is there to help, but I think the first responder really is the neighbor. And I think I want to commend you, my dear, for looking after my friend up there. But we'll certainly follow up, and the government will support where it has to support. So I was speaking about the crises that I've had to deal with, and they have come in very, very frequently, but we had Erica, and 90% of our country's economy was affected, or GDP. We had to relocate 2 entire villages, which is unprecedented in our history. There's a caller. Let's not have a person waiting. Hi, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead, please.
I have a question pertaining to the NHS. Will they be getting paid as the for COVID situation or not? If not, so then why?
Well, we have been paying all of the NEP people, including those who have not worked. I understand that in this situation, we have to hold people's hands as far as practically possible. And the government will continue to hold all of the NAP interns' hands during this period of difficulties. Because I want to ensure that as far as practically possible, we can keep people employed and get them paid. You know, but all I want for you guys in turn to do is to follow the protocols, you know, follow the health guidelines, because so that we can minimize and reduce the spread and bring an end to the spread of COVID-19 in Dominica. We can get back to a sense of normalcy. But yes, the NAP will continue to get paid. Caller, please.
Hello, good night. Good night, PM.
Yes, good evening to you, my brother.
And how are you?
I'm fine, thank God.
Okay. I'm calling from America.
Yes, sir. I recognize your voice. Sir.
Yeah, I'm calling from America. That's your boy.
Of course, of course.
Congratulations for what took place yesterday.
Yes, sir.
That's appreciated.
Excellent, excellent. Happy to
and
hear.
that's how we know.
Very good.
Yeah.
Okay.
I appreciate that.
Well, God bless.
There is something I want to talk to you about that I want you to call me off.
Okay. All right. All right. I'll be in touch.
Call that number, okay?
I'll be in touch.
It's not tonight, but tomorrow that you will call me here.
Sure. Sure. I'll contact you. Okay. That's my very good friend in America there. A very wonderful friend of mine. So I was speaking about the crises that we have had to face. You know, Erica, 90% of our GDP, and 2 years later, Maria, when every Dominican felt that we were finished, we will not recover. There's no way we're going to recover from this disaster. Individual families do not know where to turn, so you can imagine myself as Prime Minister responsible for every single person. Caller, please.
Hello, good evening, PM.
Hi, good evening to you.
Yes, I just called. I need some information because I'm tired of calling up education and I can't get any solution ready. My daughter, she studied over there. She finished studying, but she can't receive her certificate because her tuition has not been paid.
Which school is this? Which school is this?
Texas A&M University.
Oh, I think, okay. I think they had to verify something. I know of that particular case. I think there had to be some verification, but I'll get somebody to contact you. But I think there had to be some verification of this before the payment was transferred. So I'm aware of your case. That be dealt with. So people felt that we were not going to recover, and the Lord has been good to us. You know, we were able to recover successfully from the disaster in a very quick time. The people who felt that it would take us 10, 15, 20, even 30, 40 years to get back where we were because we were in a bad spot. And we've made it. And we're confronting this virus since April 2000. Is it holiday? April 2020. And we continue to strive on. We know what disasters are. We know what difficult times are. And I believe that once we work together as a nation, as a people, we can overcome this. And it is in our hands as the population, as citizens, to put an end to the spread of COVID-19. You know, it is in our hands to do so. We have to go about informed. We have to go about being informed. We have to make sensible decisions. We have to engage ourselves in sensible practices, and we can overcome. You know, I know businesses have been challenged, individuals. You know, these things happen during this period of time, but we cannot be a people without hope. We have to, if we believe in God and we believe that God is our Savior and He provides and He gives and so on, we have to have hope. We cannot curse the darkness if we have a candle lighting, or curse the candle in the darkness. Sorry. Hi, caller, please.
Yes, I'm calling from Salisbury.
Yes, sir.
Just again, with our farmers in Salisbury, not about the water in Salisbury, they just push down the water by Marion.
Yeah.
And Marion everything. And whenever it rains, we have some difficulty in accepting the fact.
Is that in PT Makushri or Go Makushri? Which one?
No. Where is that go up? Don't have any budget now.
Okay. I'll take note of that, and I will have to ask about this. Which one is it? Okay. So we cannot give up. We have to press on. It's a difficult period, but we have to press on. The entire world is grappling with this. We've seen many countries mandating vaccines. You saw President Biden announce that federal workers will need to be vaccinated. It's a discussion that haven't taken place all over the world now. We have made it clear that we're not going that route of mandatory vaccines. We, as a government, we were able to provide vaccines to our population very early in the game, and we have never not had vaccines to vaccinate all people who come to get vaccinated. And so it's left to us now with the citizens of Dominica to do what is right. This is not a time for us to be arguing for arguing's sake. This is not a time for there to be dissonance among us. This is a time for us to unite as a people. We'll all have different views. We can all educate and inform each other, but it must be to achieve a particular desirable end. And what is the desirable end we're trying to get? To get ourselves back to a state of normalcy. So we can continue to have economic activity. We can assure people of their livelihoods. Because I must understand how challenging it is for the government and for myself as Prime Minister, Minister of Finance in particular. We are confronting this COVID-19 situation where significant amounts of monies are being spent, significant amount of human resources are allocated, but everything else that we were dealing with prior to COVID continue, In a situation where, your expenses stop coming, and you're okay. Expenses coming in. We have to provide for the various sectors in our society. But we're confident, we're people of optimism. I can tell you that nothing daunts me, it daunts my spirit. I am an optimist. I believe that we committing ourselves to the task, we can overcome it. And here it is that in the midst of this global crisis, on this COVID-19, we are advancing many critical projects in our country. Whether it's from housing, whether it's from economic interventions, with the hotels that are under construction under the CBI, major infrastructure, $127 million in Casa Bruce to Canago Territory at Kingston. We'll be rolling out a number of housing initiatives. Some 60 new homes will be built in Granby for the residents of Granby, and some 45 new homes will be built for the residents of Dubic. We're reconstructing the entire Dubic community to have more resilient structures with concrete roofs and etc. And we are in consultation with contractors now to sign contracts so we can start this project. So it'll be over 110 homes, standalone homes, which will be built in the center area, both for the residents of Dubic and Granby. And of course, the international airport. We have completed the lab, as I said to you. We are clearing the site, removing the brush so we can have access for the geotechnical and surveys and studies. All of the lab equipment are in place now. We are staffing the lab as we speak. We have just started the construction of the offices to provide offices for the various teams that will be working on the project and the project team. And very soon we shall sign a contract for the actual construction of the airport. But that notwithstanding a number of very important things happening, our commitment to the residents of Wesley, those affected, to build their homes. They're very satisfied with the homes. They're very satisfied with the quality of the homes. And work is on schedule. And I believe that these people will be in their homes before Christmas, God's willing. And new homes, resilient homes, concrete roofs, but you will see it also have a second roof made out of timber and galvanized. So it's a double roof that is there to enhance the aesthetics of the building, but it is a hurricane sturdy structure with hurricane-proof windows. The owners have chosen their own colors, and everybody's excited in Wesley. Those who have opted for cash, many of them have started their own homes and they're doing very well in the construction. So a lot of monies are being spent in the communities, Wesley, Woodfordville area. And this will continue to spill over to other parts of the country because this will be a major project for Dominica. So I want to thank you for joining me this evening. Thanks for your comments and suggestions and questions. This is a program for you about issues affecting you. And I am always willing and prepared to listen to you and to hear from you. Whether it's a criticism of the government or suggestion for the government or question to me, ideas you have on how we can make life better for you and your families and how we can improve your communities and how we can make life better for the entire country. This is not my country alone, it is all our country, and each of us has a role to play in its construction. The question we have to also ask ourselves, are we going to use our God-given talents and skills and breath of life to be constructive and to be helpful to others, or are we going to use it to be negative and to be destructive to others? It's a choice that each of us has to make, but at some point, the good Lord will come to judge the living and the dead, as it is written, and the question is, what will be your answer to the questions he asked his disciples? Have a wonderful evening. Go forth and serve your country and to serve your Lord. Let us be wise and let us do what we need to do to end the spread of COVID-19 in Dominica. And so we can get back to some level of normalcy. It's been a pleasure to be with you yet another Sunday. That's my commitment, to be with you, to speak on matters pertaining to you, or matters affecting you, and matters about your own development. Thank you, and God bless you. We have paid a visit to 2 sites. One, the airport sites. Of course, the airport site has many sub-sites. The lab has been, the lab is completed with all of the necessary lab equipment on island and will be installed in the next few days, including the equipment needed for the geotechnical surveys and studies, which is a very important component for construction. And so we're very satisfied with the quality of work there. And then we visited the housing, where about 31 homes are being built for individuals whom we acquired properties from and have agreed for the government to build for them. So, and those homes are on schedule. The quality is excellent. All homes have been constructed by local contractors and with a significant number of workers. All the materials procured locally from local suppliers. So this is a significant boost to the construction sector. And of course, there are other people who are building their individual homes. The government, based on their requests, paid them for their properties, and they have contracted their own contractors to build for them. And from what we see, these homes are also going on as well. Then we visited the actual site of the construction of the airport. We have started the clearing of the site, obviously light clearing, so that to allow for access roads for the equipment to make their way through. So this studies can be done on the actual site. And the first phase of the clearing will be some 63 acres of land, again using our local heavy equipment operators and owners.